Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. Got a chance to do a little bit of a New Year's Eve bash. By the time you check out this video, it'll be New Year's Eve. It was actually on the 30th that I got to drive this truck, but I was doing a little more testing, a little more tuning. Got out to the BMX park bright and early before all the kids and stuff. I just like to get out there when no one else is around, because then I get the BMX park to myself and can kind of just send it without worrying about other people around. Also did want to give a shout out to Euro RC for supporting this build. Got this kit over from them, and definitely check them out. 5% off coupon code, €3 shipping all around Europe and even to the US. I do recommend throwing in your shipping address and then checking out what the pricing looks like. So thanks again to them for supporting this. So here's my Tekno MT410. Did make some small changes from the last time I ran this. So I did go up to a 15 tooth pinion. No problems with heat. It was really cold today. It was like 40, 42 degrees out there early in the morning. So my hands were freezing. Probably wasn't driving the best, but truck held up pretty well. I did, like I mentioned before, make some changes. So I'm actually running 20K fluid now in the front diff, 100K still in the center diff. Could probably go up to 150K, I think, but I'm just running stock 100K and 20K in the rear. So 20K, 100K, 20K just helps the steering a little bit. I do definitely think the 100K, 50K that they recommend is way too thick, and 20, 120 is plenty, especially if you're running 4S. Just gives you a little more steering, a little more turning. This thing does tend to kind of go wide if you're running like super thick fluid, so I do recommend that. Now, I did break a couple things. First off, not really a breakage, but this little steering bushing here in the steering rack backed out. So basically this screw came out. It's threaded into a bushing. That bushing basically undid itself. I did lose that. These are like $10 for a set of two, kind of expensive. But I did notice one thing, which is that on this bushing, this thing's supposed to like stick out like a little bit above the bearing, so it kind of rises above all the two bearings, and then the steering plate goes down into it. But this one was pretty much flush with the bearings, so I did end up putting in like a 1mm aluminum spacer in there. I think it's like a 3x5 little washer, just to rise that a little bit, because otherwise basically it's rubbing against the bearing, and then it tends to kind of back itself out by itself. So even with a little thread lock, it backed itself out. Maybe a little bit of a, I don't know, tolerance issue or something with the bell cranks or something. I'm not really sure what, but yeah, I did make that change, so hopefully that'll stay in a little bit better. And then this little front top plate is cracked a little bit, so you can't really tell by looking at it, but that top screw, that's like sort of rear center screw underneath, it's kind of cracked here on the back of it, so you can actually kind of like pull it out a little bit there. I don't think that'll cause a problem. I'm not really sure what caused that, because normally if you're slamming into stuff, it'll kind of compress it and shouldn't really break the back part, but maybe I over tightened it or something. Have not picked up a replacement yet. I'm just going to run it like that and see how it goes. I'm also trying some other changes. So motor temps were totally cold because it was like 40 degrees, so my motor is running at like, I don't know, 83 degrees or something insanely low. But I am trying some different things here on the rear pills. So one of the cool things about this kit is that there are a lot of adjustments, and as you can see, I'm running basically kind of a ½ degree to the bottom and to the outside. So you got to do the same thing on the left hand side to match. That basically adds an extra ½ degree of anti-squat, extra ½ degree of rear toe in. So I do notice with that short wheelbase, this thing does kind of slam the rear end into the ground, compress really fast. That should help support the rear end a little bit, so I'm going to try that out. Also, that rear toe should give you a hair more rear traction, rear end stability, and not want to slide around as much, so we'll see how that goes. The tires I'm running, the Backflips LPs, are really good, but I do feel like the rear end is a little out of balance with the front end and does tend to sort of wiggle around a little bit there on throttle. The other thing I did was run the punch. I'm at full punch now, 5. That's totally fine. Could go down to 4 if I want, but 5 doesn't seem too crazy. Sort of as long as you're sort of watching your trigger finger. And then brake wise, I'm actually running 37.5%, which does definitely help kind of smooth out the rotation in the air when you hit the brake. So stock 50%, or what is it, 100%? I'm not really sure. I think stock is 50%, but yeah, it's pretty aggressive on the brakes, so running that will help. definitely helps. And then the other thing I'm thinking about doing is adding a little expo on my radio. So basically lowering the initial impact of the brakes. So on the spectrums, they call it positive expo. On like every other radio, it's called negative expo. I'm going to try that out, throwing a little positive expo on the brakes just to kind of soften that initial hit. It's almost like having a like negative punch on your brakes, if that makes any sense. So anyways, yeah, this truck is working really, really well. It didn't really break anything of consequence, just kind of lost a bushing there when I guess it wasn't thread lock enough. And then that little piece broke there, but I don't think that's going to be a real issue. So I did notice they also updated the geometry on some of the newer Tekno kits. So they do make a new updated steering system. I think the bell cranks and stuff are a little bit different. I might try that out. I think this thing could definitely use a little more front end steering. It's you pretty much kind of have to initiate turn in with a little brake to kind of get the front end to dive, dig in, and then you can rotate. So anyways, not a big deal, but yeah, check out this running footage. It's pretty cold. Sorry for the grainy video. The GoPro doesn't work particularly well in low light conditions, so it is a little bit dark, but I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching. Oops. Yeah, 2.5. Just got it.
No, please. Oops. Double, possible double back.